Welcome back, ladies and gents. Map number 2 coming at you. It's going to be Nuke. Again, if you just joined us, Flipside, the Vega Squadron in this quarterfinals matchup to determine who will move across the tour. We have one spot available in Europe, one spot available in NA, which will be resolved all through today's proceedings. I'm Edis, and again, joined by Dust. And we're about to get things underway.
Indeed, it's Nuke, our old friend. We've come to cast it again.
Feels good, man. Have fun specking this, by the way, Ruben. Nuke the dream for spectators, of course.
Also the dream for color casters when I'm trying to figure out where people are positioned across the map. Like, wait a second, is this guy roof or is he inside lobby? Not quite sure. JR's definitely on roof though.
He sure is. He's setting up for those flashes and his smoke that he currently has. And Blade's gonna eat the bulk of that one, decides to try and rattle off a few shots before pulling back into heaven. But the bomb is going to get planted. Smoke down on the site too. Retake in effect. There is no kit in the hands of the CTs. Full Kevlars across the board. Waylander up close and personal is going to dispatch of Mia. And now it's up to Chopper to try and cut down the opposition. And he'll do just that with a couple of frags. Electronic will come back with one of his own. Shannon, meanwhile, onto Blade. And now Markelov and Chopper will exchange kills alongside Chopper with a second. And he will pick up a fourth in total. One hell of a round by him. And Vega will draw first blood again.
Yeah, very clean stuff there for Vega, just doing the pop flash push into the upper bomb site and dealing with the retake very well, particularly how they handled that lobby flank. Chopper getting those 2 kills with Squeaky Door, and like he said, closing out with the final 2 kills as well. So they will get the early kickstart in the right direction, but we are going to see Flipside Titans go ahead and buy up a bit here. Armor and pistols on 3. Markelov even picks up a scout, and then World Edit. The Deagle, no armor, obviously saving for an op later on. But with Markelov with the scout, a scoped weapon in his hand, somewhere Anders just getting real excited. Probably not watching, of course, but
if he was,
some Markelov with scope weapons.
If he was, he'd definitely have a send me, let's be honest. Waylander in the meanwhile from control room getting that smoked out, but still lands a headshot through the smoke. Nonetheless, Electronic is going to continue the pace and to apply that pressure firmly onto the opposition. JR is bouncing back with kills. There is a couple. There's still Waylander, Blade, and Markelov with his aforementioned scout with a minute to try and stop this bomb from being planted. JR's going to go in for another kill. He's only lost 26 health collectively. This isn't looking too shabby now all of a sudden. He's still fancy Flipside to be able to turn the noose and take this round, and indeed they will, but it looked like maybe a couple of hiccups could have came in. Still, Flipside will bounce back 1-1.
So that is a quick cut at the ankles to Vega Squadron, who were looking to get some momentum going and get the clean start. As they will have Flipside immediately respond. They will force buy up in their own right, though. And this is where you're going to see the game get into a spot where it's going to be quite scrappy, right? Because both teams are fighting for economic control, force buying into one another until they can shoot together a couple of rounds in a row and force their opponent to submit. That's exactly what's happening here, as Vega looking to put the ump and upgraded pistols to work. Getting that outside control.
The original explosion is really where the casualties would have fallen if Vega have any chance. And now that they've lost the 2 opening players, make that 3 to the hands of Markelov's AK. Going from bad to worse. JR, again, he always seems to be the last player alive on Vega Squadron. And this isn't looking like it's any more doable. 1 on 5. Tech9 has the bomb. Has time. But this is surely Flipside getting a 2-1 lead. JR is going to fake out the bomb there instead of holding it down. And that could have cost him a plant, but he did at least take a play down with him in the process.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he would have been able to get it or not. There was someone coming from ramp room pretty quick, so they may have stopped him anyway. So at least trying to do a little bit more economic damage to Flipside, force some rebuying. Always, you know, try to disrupt them, setting up long-term goals with their economy. But now Vega Squadron will just be on Glocks, and so this is either going to be, you know, a quick round or some meme about Glocks when they win the round from you as a play-by-play commentator, one or the other, you know. Either way, we win.
I think the meme's dead, mate. Guess who's left alive, though? It's JR! He's going to go for the sneaky bomb plant? Nah, doesn't have the time. And he's not going to get a Glock kill. The meme is certainly dead.
Memes are never dead, Metis. We're just getting over April Memes Day. What a day that was.
I can't be the only person that hates April Fool's Day. I
used to love it as a kid. I would wreck my family all the time. They never saw it coming. That, or I'm naive and they just like let me do it because I was a little kid and they wanted me to be happy. One or the other. Either way. Yeah. That Overwatch thing on the subreddit actually got me, I'm not gonna lie. I was really confused for a good... That's the only one that got me, was that one. So well done, mods at the CSGO subreddit. Look at this smoke wall, though. There you go. Oh, rip, of course.
Down to Secret. They will move, though, with the bomb at the cost of JR's life. Problem is, though, they're quite isolated from one another. You've got 2 players out of Secret. The other 2 are still prowling around outside on the silo. And they have expended a lot of their utility to get here. Still 2, if I can actually get my words out correctly. Smokes in the hands of Vega. And 55 seconds to play with. But the positions for Flipside are actually really solid here. It's all well and good getting to Secret, but it's what you do after that that really counts. And so far, Vega have done nothing with this position. Electronic's going to be peering up, just jumping up over the stairs. Did spot a couple of players, going to go for a flash and then the peek afterwards. But the terrorists were a step ahead. 30 seconds left. Chopper's going to be moving in, and one taps onto Electronic. That does give them an extra avenue of aggression through onto Decom, but Wayland's going to be holding down his M4. Does do significant damage to a couple of players, but it's not going to stop the bomb from being planted. And now a round that was looking like Flipside should be able to hold on to this one. We're in a 3-on-4 retake. And judging from their positions, they are going to go for this for the time being. It's one of those kind of scenarios, if they get a kill, it could bait them into going for this retake, and they have done just that as Waylander is already going to be put to rest. Will Dead It now is going to be coming on with the Uplands one. Last 2 players only have 16 health between the 2 of them. Of course, no way of Will Dead It knowing that one. Is he still interested in this? He's still toying with the idea, it would seem.
No kit, though. No time. So just trying to see if he can't get an exit. But, jeez, to swing around an angle he wasn't aware of, and that's going to be another round for Vega Squadron. And it really just came down to how that played out in back halls. I mean, the initial kill comes from Flipside through the smoke as they get into Secret, but once they got down into lower, I mean, the fact that they were able to get clean kills on Electronic and then Waylander, that was kind of what tilted the balance, right? You know, Vega from that point, it was an easier time closing it, especially when Blade got caught rotating through vents. So even his rotate was cut off, and it really just kind of killed any retake opportunities there. But now we're going to be in round number 6, and again, it's going to be Vega Squadron wanting to test the waters of outside with this smoke wall and JR's op. As outside control is kind of one of the staples of Nuke T-side. You know, this is kind of like the base that you build from.
It's the first time I've seen JR using the op, I believe, on this side so far. Hasn't really had too much impact. Even on Cash, wasn't really up to the usual standards you'd expect from him. A flashbang destroys him. It's going to force them to run away. So it's actually information gathered by the CTs that had heard the footsteps after the flash detonated. Down to Secret again. Markov's just holding the angle outside, making sure he isn't spotted from the silo. Electronic can hear the squeaky door, I think, being toyed with. Again, though, it's baby steps downstairs. Vega Squadron are just hoping for that entry frag. Last time it was Chopper that gifted it them. And if he doesn't this time, it's probably just going to fall flat on its face. So Markov's going to get the drop onto me. He gets the spray with the FAMAS. 35 seconds left, and now they're forced to make a move outside. And Markov nearly gets his second one. Good guy Hutchie, though, to the rescue of his teammate. And this Chopper now going to get the entry frag. Make that 2 through Squeaky yet again. He seems to be the difference maker so far. Had a poor first map, but he put down in his place. And with 20 seconds left, it's a 1-on-1. Kashanda has the high ground, but the bomb dropped on the site. And Waylander can hear the footsteps and will take the kill down. Flipside retain a 2-round lead, 4-2 now.
I mean, that time Vega Squadron looking to use that outside control to actually push more towards mini rather than going into the back halls. And Markelov did well to stay alive. I mean, that's always a tricky situation when you have so much you have to worry about as the outside player. You could see where he was tucked in that corner. He had to worry about Big Garage pushing him or the rafters. You know, it's either, someone could have easily pushed right next to the box right behind him. So he was able to get a kill, buy time, even do a lot of damage to a second player. So well played by him, and obviously World did it with the hat trick. That's going to help. And now Vega just upgraded pistols and that 1-up on Hutji. As Flipside looking to build a lead again. They already had the first map under their belt, so looking to see if they can get the 2-0 to move to the semifinals. Meanwhile, Vega still trying to see if they can't get something going on that T side, find some type of rhythm. Waylander's definitely cutting it off.
Yeah, Chopper didn't know what hit him. The side of his head gets perforated with the M4A4 rounds. Markov's going to do exactly the same to JR. Execution style this time, the assault rifle. Almost went inside his ear. And our Vega Squadron. This is the issue that we mentioned before. They're not necessarily renowned for their nuke play. Do they have anything to fall back on? Is it just going to be ruthless aggression? It seems to be the aggression now that's taking over. That's in the embracing arms of Flipside, who are just getting the crossfires working for them flawlessly. Only losing Electronic, but he'll be happy with that trade-off. Vega Squadron will be into an eco this round.
Yeah, so a little bit of a force buy on that round after the money reset doesn't pan out, and so now they'll have to do more with less. Another full Glock round. This is twice they've had to do a full Glock round already in this half, and so that kind of spells it out, doesn't it? When you're having to do, you know, full saves like this on the T side of a map, that's never where you want to be.
Yeah, I mean, with terrorists, you're always typically opting for at least a few P250s or Tech 9s, but as you mentioned, I mean, it's been real bare bones stuff. Not going to be a flawless round. Kashanda's burst fire with the Glock is going to go on to Blade.
Don't see that every day. A burst fire Glock working. That's definitely not usually how it goes, but of course, not like Flipside are worried too much about it. Really starting to build up a nice economy here on the CT side. Which is great, because when you have all this money, you have the luxury of being able to afford incendiaries. So now upper rush is never going to happen, because there's just no way to break through those incendiaries, right? It just gives you those extra options to kind of cut out what terrorist opportunities are going to be.
Yeah, and so far it seems that Vega have been happier to try and force outside. We've seen them throw the wall of smokes, then get into secret. But they've only been able to dispatch of it once afterwards. Lining up for Markov, nearly gets a double. Means down to 10. And Markov's done more than his fair share of work in this round. It will finish off what he started. But the terrorists have scampered downstairs and are already through the doors onto the site, planting in the smoke. So Vega do have a post-plant scenario. They're now going to try and defend. The shoe on the other foot. Hutchie dispatches of World Edit, who tries to jump down into the vents. A key frag, all even again. This is where two incendiaries could really come into play, though. One of them's just been tossed out by Waylander. Blade still has his in his back pocket. They're going to be walking out to the open, and there's no teamwork in play here. It's a free kill for Kashanda. Fortunately for Flipside, they are going to bag themselves a kill in vents. But now Kashanda's going to dispatch of Blade with a 3k in the round. And Vega do get it somehow, some way.
Yeah, I mean, despite the fact that World Edit and Marklov get the first 2 kills on the round, I mean, it was true that Marklov got traded pretty quickly, and it just seemed like no one from Flipside really got lower. You know, when Vega Squadron got control of back halls and got into lower, there was really no one there to greet them, and so I don't know if it's because Flipside just didn't really know where they were headed. I mean, sure, when outside control gets taken like that and secret's a threat, you can't really know if they're going to attack mini off of that, or whether they're going to try to come up heaven, or whether they're actually going to go to lower bomb sites. So when you have lesser numbers on CT side, you have to kind of pick your battles, and they just kind of forfeited lower, looking to play the retake, and it really haunts them, but not in this round. Markolov this time going to get 2 before he goes down, rather than the 1. And I mean, Shander, the guy who clutched last round, has to do an even bigger one at this point.
Yeah, and plus, before the bomb was planted for him, he was in a pretty decent position. This time he's got all the work to do, and it's not going to happen. And this has been the consistent factor for Vega, not just on this map, but also Cash prior. They get around, but it's on an island of CT rounds. I mean, they're getting 1 here and 1 there, but they're not getting any momentum, they're not getting any consistency, and therefore they're constantly in these very poor buys. As we already discussed, they've had 2 full Glock buys, this is a force buy, and then we have 1 UMP in play. Yeah,
this is the 2nd or 3rd force buy we've seen, and then, like you said, the 2 Glock rounds. So when you're saying that 4 or 5 rounds out of the 10 we've played, almost half, they've had to do rounds like this, that spells a lot of trouble for them. This time World Edit will be watching out across with the op, and he'll pick up one on Kashander, poor guy.
It's going to happen eventually, though, because this has been almost Vega Squadron's go-to tactic. Smoke outside, rush down secret. No reason for World Edit not to just be pinging through the smoke. He doesn't really have anything to contend with. And now playing more of a passive role on the site is Blade. We've seen I think it was Waylander who was on this position earlier. Does a lot of damage with the AK. Electronic are lining them up. And like the dominoes that Vega Squadron are, they're going to be knocked straight down. Markov onto JR, leaping chopper, and a UMP. Although he is going to use his Deagle instead. I'm going to be waiting for those players to come up. It gets picked off from behind from World Edit, who is still in heaven. 8-3. And now it's Markov's turn to step up and shine. I mean, you saw almost the electronic show on Cash. Markov's 15-6 with 6 assists.
He has been handling playing outside very well. And again, playing outside as a CT can be difficult. Even if the match still leans towards the CT side in general, now with the rafters and different things outside, there is so much more that CTs have to worry about outside, particularly if you're in a situation where you're kind of by yourself, or maybe you only have a support from... Okay, well... Hutchie now has to play in extreme hard mode.
GG.
Another almost full Glock round again, by the way, so that's 3 now that's been like this.
I expect Waylander to tee off with a couple more kills. Well, it does go down, so Assault Rifle will trade off into the hands of Vega, but of course, as you just highlighted, there's no Kevlar, so it's aim punch going to be a very real issue to contend with. Electronics taking this opportunity to push into lobby. I like that aggression. You can see it was Mia, the assailant, onto Hutchie. The traitor in the midst. And Flipside, as expected, will secure the round. This is kind of going the way we thought it would, though. Flipside, a team that do like to play Nuke Vega, not so much.
Yeah, again, just really been impressed with how Markelov's managed outside. It feels like every single round he's gotten the information his team has needed, and he's gotten at least 1 kill. And that's a lot to ask out of a guy who has, like I said, a lot of responsibility, a lot of different spots he has to worry about. Very hard to keep your eyes on everything. I think he's done a good job managing that. Even had a couple of multi-frag rounds. He's top fragging for his team, so definitely the guy having the impact here. Now he's going to play aggressive at red. He's going to try to disrupt this outside push this time. He wants to get in their face. And he will get the one guy that is actually there.
Yeah, the nightmare for Vega continues. Markelov realizing, okay, they're constantly getting that smoke wall outside. Let me just push them. Let's see if they want to try it again this one. Electronics will be hiding in the smoke. There are a couple of players dead ahead of him. As he's currently in the hut, he'll be pulling himself back. Flash by JR onto the A side once again. Designed to take World Edit out of the equation. It's not going to be successful in its endeavours. And JR, the final player to fall. Deja vu from Cash. This has been incredibly one-sided so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, that's always the trouble with throwing a flash through glass, is it breaks and it gives the CTs a brief second to kind of respond and kind of look the other way and avoid that flash having an impact. And so the CTs weren't really bothered by any of that utility that Vega spent to try to upper execute. And once again, just pistols from Vega. I mean, so we've played 13 rounds, and at least 7 of them have been rounds where they haven't really been able to put anything together. So the economy has definitely been a huge issue for Vega. Meanwhile, Flipside just thriving right now. Markelov continuing to dominate this outside position. Even has a shot at an ace this round.
Oh.
And there it goes.
Chopper with his deagle once again. Party pooping. Kishanda last player. AK spray. More than good enough to deal with him. And we did see a couple of these kind of dodgy buys also on Cash for Vega Squadron 2. There's one in particular that stands out and they went for a force buy. Or they didn't go for a force buy, pardon me, and went for deagles the round afterwards. But this has been a rough day at the office. 11-3. They get a 4th round, 2nd pistol. Maybe this game's back on again. It's hard to see them getting anything that will stick on this map.
Yeah, I mean, it really just has that mood that it's kind of already over and that Flipside are going to be moving on. But again, we'll give Vega the respect of trying to see if they can't play themselves back into this one. Nothing stopping them from having their own dominant CT side, that's for sure. Though I think Flipside is going to be a little bit more comfortable on their T sides, and I think they'll have a deeper playbook to you know, find those last rounds they need. So it's not looking good for Vega, but hopefully they'll at least show us a little bit of something in this, as they are at least getting this aggression handled this time around and giving them a chance to execute this upper bomb site with a man advantage.
Retaining the man advantage. It did get a bit shaky for a few moments with World Edit and Blade both chiming in for kills. World Edit's still alive with Markelov, so the two guys that are top fragging on their side, collectively 36 kills between the two of them. The has been cut down a level, and Markelov, the final player to fall. Chopper and Kishanda will finalise the half in winning ways, but it's only 4 to go through on the CT side with. And this is, of course, nowhere near as one-sided for the CT side as it used to be. way back in the day.
Yeah, I think there's definitely more opportunities for Terrace, but it's really more of that TTs just have so much more to worry about outside. I think that's kind of the biggest thing. But that's really the point. That's why Flipside played it so well, and they got the rounds they did is because Markelov handled that responsibility almost perfectly. And you also have to account for the money resets and the fact that Vega just were constantly force buying. You know, all of that is just kind of a recipe for disaster for Vega, really. And so they've only found 4 rounds in this first half, and now they have to basically win the pistol just to survive, just to even have a chance at playing back into this map and, you know, staying relevant in this best of 3 because elimination's right around the corner for them.
Indeed. Just shown us Flipside 1-0 up. This is the qualifiers for Tour, which is at the beginning of May. And Mia charging straight out with the USP. Electronic does come back with the kill, and the second one with the Glock. And we'll trade across. Oh, and a third JR gets demolished.
Jesus
that Glock
Christ.
on point. It was looking like this should be Vega Squadron's round when Mia came out, all guns blazing. Electronic is on for the ace. And Chopper better be careful, because Electronic has shown that he's quite the beast with the Glock. Their advantage remains for Flipside. Still loads of time left after that flurry of confrontation. Kashanda could be able to get the kill onto Markov. Not going to happen though. Markov was laid in wait and patience proving to be a virtue. Now Chopper, who will take down the first kill, gets picked off from Electronic, who gets a 4K of his own. And that is Flipside moving ever closer to this victory.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, it's just a few steps away now. And again, when you're really trying to think about how does Vega win this, it really becomes a lot more foggy to try to figure that out. As they will, of course, do the force buy on this round. Head armor and pistols across the board, with the exception of JR, who will just go on the glass cannon scout. I don't know, what would you call a glass cannon scout? 'Cause it's not really a cannon. It's not an op. So what do you think's the appropriate? Yeah, anything come to mind?
Oh, really?
Oh, did he see the top of that head?
He did definitely see the top of his head, just peeking out there.
Guess he didn't notice it, though, as we did.
Oh, hot shit. Jumping up, really, bro? Reals? He's nearly dead, down at 24. I have to think about that.
Yeah.
The last scout. Narrowly missing out on that pixel of a head that was peeking over from Silo earlier on. He is going to get another crack, and he definitely saw it this time. Judging from his position, does land the shot. It's Electronic that's the recipient of the scout shot. And there and again is the one tap. Chopper may as well just keep a deagle. There's no need for him to use anything else. He gets way more frags with this. And by the way, look at the kill tower. He's way ahead of everyone else on his team. He's got down though. Kashanda is going to step up with a CZ kill, but his team's still trailed by a player.
Yeah, it comes down to a 2 versus 2. Is there really a hope here for Vega? It's not looking too shabby right now.
Only 7 bullets for Kashanda. That could be quite an issue. If you can get a 1-for-1 trade, though, definitely worthwhile. And JR's going to come around at the perfect time, but Electronic and Markelov have the assault rifles, and they will triumph over a scout and a pistol. 13-4. Vega Squadron into an eco. I'd imagine. I mean, they could force buy if they're desperate. They get so close to losing.
And 14-4 seems to be on the horizon at this point, as the force buy has gone really nowhere for Vega. And so in this one, they have to full save to make sure they get that comfortable buy in the next round. And they'll basically have one chance to keep this game one that involves regulation rather than at best hoping for an overtime. Blades already put Hutchie down in the dirt. And Waylander and company seem to be finishing this one off quite quickly. And again, as to be expected, just a bunch of non-armored USPs. So there you have it, 14-4. Flipside are quickly on their way to the semifinals, it appears.
Yeah, they're gathering speed at an alarmingly quick rate. It hasn't just been Electronic, he's been playing well, but Markelov, as you mentioned, super good outside. Well, that's been performing well this map with the AWP. Vega off to a brisk loss, it would seem. And we did say that Cash was a must-win map for them, considering that it would be Nuke and Train coming up afterwards. After they lost 16-7 on their choice. It looks like this isn't really going for too much longer. Mia in Garage could get the drop onto Electronic if he's not careful, but it's going to be an aggressive play through into Hut, with Chopper getting headshot instantly by World at it, improving. He couldn't use the AK just as good as that AWP. Electronic will pick himself up a kill too. And Hutchie, Kashanda, and JR have it all to do for themselves. Kashanda can get the one frag, but not any more. Can't connect the dots. Bomb will get planted. Markelov will be covered by the rest of his team. Hutchie going to be scampering through the smoke. But a 2-on-4 retake, surely not on the cards.
Yeah, you wouldn't think so, but they have to. I mean, really, saving the 2-M4s. I mean, you almost have to go for this, but they don't have a kit, so at some point you do just have to play for the OT. JR is to get the kill on the Markelov, so it opens up things a little bit here for the retake, but again, still no kits, so they have to work fast.
Yeah, there's no red button now. They've got to go for it. And Waylander and Electronic will jump on top of that. 15-4. Last round will be UMPs, maybe a Max 7. Not too much else. Scout actually picked up by JR. Deagle, of course, Chopper. What else would it be? And yeah, it's that kind of bargain bucket buy-up that we were expecting to see. Flipsides will be taking a 2-0 victory, barring a miracle by Vega Squadron.
Yeah, they'd really have to run it back at this point to even hope to pressure a third map. And Electronics already found the first casualty, and so it seems to be mounting up at this point. There's another. So just the picks coming across the map. Not even Flipside committing to anything yet. Just finding those basic entries. They have a 5-on-3.
Yeah, that's been the alarming thing for me for Vega. It hasn't been anything complex or anything too in-depth. It's just been very basic, solid, meat and potatoes Counter-Strike that Flipside have been getting by on. They have completely outclassed Vega Squadron in every single measurement. And it looks as though this is the circling of the drain. Chopper's going to get a 1D onto Markelov, pardon me. Yeah, he killed himself. Brilliant. GG, well played. Hutchie and Chopper, last two players left. Make that just Hutchie. UMP in hand, goes for the spray, and will be put in his place. Vega Squadron will lose it 2-0. Congratulations to Flipside, who move on to the semi-finals. And they surely one of the favourites to qualify.
Yeah, again, I think you got to think Hellraisers are probably the definite favorite here, but I think outside of that, yeah, Flipside looking pretty good to be one of the ones to definitely do it. And they're also the first one to complete their best of 3. Still, we're in map 2 on all the other games right now. Looks like Tricked and LDLC, though, could be over pretty soon, as Tricked are a map up against LDLC, and they're up 12-3 in map number 2. So that one could actually come to an end rather quickly. The other maps a little bit closer in the first half of the second map, so those could still take a bit. So might have a bit of a lull in the action of the qualifiers, I guess, until those other matches are determined to see who Flipside's going to play and who else is moving on to the semis of this tournament.
Yeah, a bit of a blowout best of 3, that one, but Flipside certainly deserving of their place. As thus said, as a result of this being over very quickly, could be a bit of a break, but the other matches are being casted in English and multiple languages. So if you want, just hop over to them. And once we're done in this round, we'll be moving to the semi-finals. Again, 1 spot up for grabs for Europe, 1 spot for NA. We will find out which 2 teams will be rounding off the participants of DreamHack Tour coming up next month. But we will be back in a little bit, guys, as we wait for the other games to finish.